Hi, thanks for joining us again. I'm Tracel with Intracoastal Realty here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I am joined again by Rebecca Mickler with A Space to Call Home. And Rebecca's agreed to talk to us a little bit about getting your home prepared to get it on the market. We're here in Wilmington, it's getting into that season where everyone's ready to put their house on the market, but they don't know where to start. Can you give us just a couple top tips? What are some things that when a buyer is walking up to the home that will catch their eye and make the seller's home stand out compared to anyone else's?
Sure. So I say first impressions are huge. So always the first thing we're going to recommend, or I'm going to recommend, is going to be curb appeal.
Okay.
Clean up the yard, trim the bushes, plant some fresh flowers, especially in Wilmington in the spring. Curb appeal is huge. You know, if a buyer drives up to a house and it looks like it's not been maintained, if there are toys in the yard or there's yard equipment everywhere, it doesn't really look like, oh, this seller's not super excited. You know, they didn't come to play. Like,
yes,
they're not presenting their best foot forward.
That's pretty fair.
The absolute first best impression is going to be your curb appeal.
Okay.
So, you know, nice plants at the front, cut your grass, edge the lawn, pressure wash your driveway, pressure wash the sidewalks, refresh the mulch, or put on pine straw.
Yes, and we're in that season also here in the South where we have all the pine tree pollen, that yellow pollen that's starting. So at the end of April is a great time to spray everything down.
Yes.
So once we get through the front door, what are some other items that home sellers should concentrate on?
So I think the most important thing for most home sellers is depersonalizing and neutralizing the property. Depersonalizing basically means taking your personal touch and your personal items out of the house, which means family photos come down.
Okay.
Kids' toys are stored away or packed away. You really want the home to feel more like a model home, which is it's nicely decorated, but it doesn't scream, this is Tracel's home or this is Rebecca's home. Like, I want this to be your home.
Yes.
So I don't want you to see all my family photos. So it's really important to kind of take down things that are super specific in terms of your personal taste.
Okay.
Take down diplomas, take down anything religious, take down anything political.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So just things that might sway somebody one way or the other. You're just trying to appeal to as many people as possible.
Okay.
And then neutralizing is kind of along those same lines. Even if you love like a bright red or yellow wall, most people are looking for something neutral where they're not going to have to feel like they have to paint as soon as they walk,
So if you have a fairly neutrally painted home, however you have an accent wall, do you recommend going back in and toning that down with either the matching paint to the rest of the house or maybe just a toned down accent color?
It depends on the color of the wall. If it's just a darker version of what you have everywhere else, it might be fine. But if it's, Carolina blue, probably. I would go ahead, dial it back a little bit, because what you're really trying to do is remove any objections that a potential buyer might have.
Okay.
And the more you can kind of cross off that list as you're going, the better off the buyer perceives that property.
Okay.
Because they're not making a mental list of, gonna have to paint that, gonna have to replace those. What they really want is to walk in and just be home.
Right.
And the more that they have to start thinking about the things they're gonna have to do to the house, the less they're thinking about being in the house and wanting to be in the house. So
those are some great tips. Do you have any others before we finish up?
I think the biggest thing I think people don't do that I would totally recommend, if you're really looking to sell your house, start packing. Your house is not going to be on the market for very long. So if it's springtime, pack up your winter stuff. Closets always look bigger when they have less stuff in them. So do not leave your garage like the tool capital of the world. Pack up the garage.
Right.
Pack up your closets. Rent a storage unit and start getting things out. And the nice thing about that people don't seem to realize is that when you do sell your house, you're halfway done.
I was just thinking, as you were talking, I was thinking, what a great idea, because you're right. Then that overwhelming feeling of, I have to pack everything. No, half of it's already in a storage unit.
Like, get all the stuff out of like the kitchen cabinets that you really don't use anyway. We all have it.
Yes.
Keep out the essentials, but for the most part, go ahead and like adios everything. I mean, mentally, that is going to make a big difference for you because you're leaving.
Yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a big thing that I think people don't do. That I think helps a lot, just on both ends. So
fantastic information. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
And I think that last tip is key. If you are to declutter, pack it away, and then the stress of having to move is that much smaller. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Welcome.
Really appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
And if you have any questions or comments, Rebecca's contact information is going to be in the comment section below. or you can write your questions there and one of us will make sure that it gets answered. Hope you have a wonderful week, everyone.